Hey guys, hello and welcome to It Came From a Box. Today we're taking a look at the Logitech Illuminated Living Room Keyboard K830. Did I say Logitech? Because it's by them. So, yeah. So here it is. I've been using this for the last few months and I can say with confidence that this is a pretty awesome keyboard. It's a living room companion. I think it says that on the box. No, it doesn't, but it should. And so what you would do is normally hook it up to a PC, a portable PC or a laptop, and hook it up to your TV, and then you would just pretty much use it for movies, browsing the web. I've played games with it. My wife has played Warcraft with it successfully. So let's take a closer look. Alright, so here's the box. On the top left here you can see the Logitech logo. On the right, Illuminated Living Room Keyboard K830. And it states, the best way to control your connected TV even in the dark. Now below that we can see the Windows 7 and Windows 8 compatibility labels. This does function on Macs, but Logitech doesn't offer the Logitech Options software for that OS. So that means you can't customize the keys or the touchpad. So as for what you get in the box, you have the keyboard, of course. Then you have the tiny USB Unifying Receiver, and this actually lets you attach up to 6 of Logitech's unifying devices. There's also a USB extender cable, which you can use with the Unifying Receiver if for some reason the range isn't enough and you keep it closer to the keyboard that way. And then of course you get a USB to micro USB charging cable. Now, I do have some dimensions here. The keyboard has a width of 14.4 inches, height of 4.9 inches, and a depth of 0.65 inches. So this makes it about 15 to 20% smaller than current keyboards out there. It weighs in at 17.5 ounces, which puts it just over 1 pound. So it's lightweight, but it still has that kind of weight that makes it feel substantial. Now going into the features, the Unifying Receiver offers a 2.4 GHz wireless connection, which is just about the same as Bluetooth, and that gives it a solid range of about 33 feet, which should be more than enough distance from you and whatever you're connected to. Using the Unifying Receiver, you can also hook this up to a PlayStation, an Xbox, a smart TV, and I use it with my Nexus player, which leads me to believe that it will most likely work with other TV devices as well. The battery life on this thing is awesome. Logitech states that it can last up to 10 days with 3 hours of charge, but it's been over a month of light use and I've yet to charge it. Up here you have the power switch, and right next to that you have the micro USB slot for charging. So if you're an Android user like me and have those charging cables all over the house, you can use those same ones to charge this keyboard, which is just pretty convenient. Alright, real fast on the back here, we don't really have much, but we do have these 4 soft bumpers right here. And then moving to the top, you have the power switch. And right below that, you can see the LED to confirm when it's on. Now, the switch itself is actually slightly tough to slide, which is great because you won't have to worry about accidentally turning it off when you're using it. Now, to go over the keys, they're low profile, so they're flat all across, of course, and that makes it so it's very easy to clean. And they're also really smooth. These keys, they have this kind of soft textured plastic, and it feels great on your fingers, and it makes it just a joy to like type on. And when you do type, it makes little to no sound. So it's perfect for, you know, when you're using it for movies or whatever. And then the layout is just about the same as traditional keyboards. Now, in the top, you do have your F keys, but they also serve as secondary function keys, such as the keyboard brightness, which you have 2 levels of, and then some minimize, maximize, and close windows keys, switch screen, which is a favorite, and a few others as well as your basic media keys on the right here. Now, all the way to the right, you will see that you have volume control, and I really love this. You have your mute, volume down, volume up, and it's probably the feature I use the most when I'm watching movies. Alright, so the keyboard does feature really nice backlit keys, and as you can see, they fade on whenever you type, and a few seconds after the last key press, they fade out. I really do enjoy this feature because not only does it save battery life, but if you're watching a movie and you have the lights off, you won't have to worry about these constantly distracting you. Now, for those of you who do want a always-on backlighting, there is sadly no option for it, but to be honest, I really don't think you'll need it. One of the things that actually bothers me about this keyboard is that you'll see like this page up, page down, home and end key, then the function key, and all these F keys up here, they're in red. And this color does not actually illuminate in the dark. So if you're looking for something such as like a delete key, but accidentally hit the function key, you'll find that this is actually a sleep key. So by mistake in the dark, you may actually end up putting your machine to sleep in the middle of a movie or a game, which is something you just don't want to run into. Moving on to the touchpad, I've never been a big fan of touchpads. When it comes to navigation on like a computer or laptop, I always will prefer a mouse, just mostly because of work and also for games. But I will say that I actually like this one. The material that they use is this kind of smooth plastic that your fingers can easily glide across, but it still maintains a slight amount of resistance. So, you know, of course that helps you be more precise. And it's also very responsive. It doesn't seem to give you that slight amount of lag that some touchpads on laptops can have. And then also, the left and right click buttons are actually really nicely sized, so you can easily feel around and find them in the dark. I do like the feedback on it as well, and like the keyboard, they're very quiet. This is a gesture-based touchpad, by the way, and I've been using it on Windows 8, so navigating around is much better with gestures and just using a generic, than if you were using a generic mouse. Another nice feature is this button on the top left here of the keyboard, and that is a left click. So when you're holding the keyboard with both hands, you can actually use your right thumb on the touchpad to navigate around and make those left clicks by just tapping this button on the top left. And I actually really like that, and I've been using it a lot. Alright, so let's wrap this up with some pros and cons. First, we have the low profile keys. As I mentioned, they're very easy to clean, and I mean, I have my cloth on me all the time, so I'm constantly wiping this down, and I'll tell you why soon. And then you have the auto illuminated keys. As I mentioned, once you start typing or you move the touchpad around, the keys light up. And then they have like a 5-second delay before they turn off. Then there's battery life. This thing will not die. It just doesn't die. It's been over a month of use and this doesn't die. And then of course there's the wireless range. It's 30 feet. I've not had a single problem with this connection at all. It's very solid. Doesn't disconnect with cell phones around or any other kind of Bluetooth devices or wireless devices. All right, so now we're gonna look at the cons. I really had to dig for cons because there's not much I dislike about this keyboard, but I always believe that you have to look for some negatives in these things. So one of the things is the no backlighting on function keys. When you have to go on these keys over here, like I mentioned before, you might accidentally end up hitting the sleep key. So if you're in the dark and you're watching a movie or you're playing a game and that happens, it's just gonna ruin your day. And then there's the fact that this is actually a slight fingerprint magnet. I don't know if you can see it right there, but this thing holds onto your fingerprint oil or whatever you want to call it very well. And it's aggravating to clean all the time. Also, the lack of Bluetooth connection on this. We end up using this unifying receiver, which is very small. I can see a situation where you would lose this and then this becomes just a paperweight. I know a lot of people out there who use Macs, and the fact that this doesn't have the software for it means that it sort of hinders its performance. You can't really use the customizable keys, which is a big thing if you think about it. Logitech does make a lot of awesome Mac peripherals, so it's a little weird to see that happening, especially considering that all it is a piece of software. Alright, so I will say that this is something I've been waiting for a long time. I've always wanted a living room companion that I could just leave on a side table or coffee table and use whenever someone comes by or whenever I'm watching a movie or playing a game on a bigger screen. It currently is going for around $80 on Amazon, and I will provide those links for you below. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video or have any questions, make sure to let us know in the comments below. Now, if you want to support the channel and help us out, feel free to click that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content. Of course, if you want to follow us and interact with us, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, and a bunch of other sites, which I'll put down below. Thank you so much. My name is Sergio IM, and I'll see you guys for the next box.